Hello, hello. Welcome to With Wisdom, Embodying Energy, Embracing Seasons. And we are here with Sam to start a new month, the month of May. Welcome, Sam.
Welcome, and I have my own cup here of tea, and hopefully it's not going to go cold while I listen and chat with you over this episode. And I'm going to just say to anybody who's watching, maybe this is an opportunity for you to get a cup of tea and just sit and listen, and maybe there might be some inspiration in what we share with you today. So, how has May been going for you, Gabby? I think the 1st of May was on Friday. So what's been going on for you?
Well, I have been reflecting back on several things that we converse or we discuss on April. And for us, using as a starting point, I will read a chapter of the Tao Te Ching that we use in my training of internal martial arts with Mimi, who we had in February. And if you haven't seen that conversation yet, please go to our playlist of conversations and get inspired by Mimi. And when we train, and what I love and I noticed that has had a powerful effect on me the 6 years I have been practicing together with Mimi, is to bring philosophical perspectives or stances on life to the body. At the beginning, it was quite abstract to me, but with the practice and just allowing and not having too much my mind, then wonders start to happen. And these concepts started to have a somatic imprint in myself. I think we also did it when we were training as somatic coaches. We did like these somatic experiments, no? How, I don't know, how freedom feels in your body. How would you express it? How is the contract?
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, so I'm as far as you get a somatic imprint, then it's easier to also identify in other experiences in life, right? And this week we were working around chapter 10 with the invitation to practice in a playfulness way. She was sharing her shifu, always telling what are we playing today, for the practice. Although it's a serious practice and we take it seriously, we come with the openness of a child, with the wisdom of an elder, and we also worked with the practice. Trying to improve, but not perform or compete or overpower our bodies from the mind. So I will read the chapter, and also then with some thoughts that came afterwards regarding April's Fool, which we talked in April. So it says, can you coax your mind from its wandering and keep to the original oneness? Can you let your body become supple as a newborn child's? Can you cleanse your inner vision until you see nothing but the light? Can you love people and lead them without imposing your will? Can you deal with the most vital matters by letting events take their course? Can you step back from your own mind and thus understand all things? Giving birth and nourishing, having without possessing, acting with no expectations, living and not trying to control. This is the supreme virtue. Before I go further, if you want to share, if something came up to you, or is too abstract.
It's not too abstract. The thing that was like this sort of just being with, and I can't repeat the words back, but this kind of sense of, so being with and letting go of control, just letting something unfold. That's what came up for me then. And there's something around the word, my word, that I like, that sort of, there's a sort of sense of curiosity, but not seeking. It's not sort of like there's no pressure from behind. It's just being in the moment and just being there and using our whole sense of our body and our body. So all of our senses are sort of the extra reception piece around our senses, and then our bodies to just be with what's right now. Yeah, that's what came up for me. Beautiful.
Yeah, I think it has many layers. No, I was also mentioning off camera, for me, the month of May, it's associated in Venezuela. We celebrate the Mother's Day on the second Sunday of May, and in Germany also. So I have kind of, in my experience, with it to that. And when I was thinking about a mother, not giving birth and nourishing, having without possessing, acting with no expectation. And this part that says, can you love people and lead them without imposing your will? When you're a mother, I mean, you can be a leader also in your in professional life, but when you're a mother or a father also, you are leading people, and how difficult it is not to impose our own agenda and let them unfold and flourish and sprout like they are. And for me, spring is nature showing that way also, no? It's not like I haven't seen Mother Nature having growth charts or comparing the trees.
Yes.
Or, you know,
how much have you grown this week?
like we do with our babies, you know, we are so obsessed. And then
how many leaves have you put out? That's just not enough. So
not
I can
enough.
just that kind of voice.
Yeah, you're not developed as it was expecting, and all these things, no? And we are so obsessed with perfection or impose expectations that we then we missed the moment, like you said, not being in the moment. And I can reflect back in my life, and still I do it, no, because I'm still programmed that way, that something is happening, and instead of being completely present, I'm trying to impose whatever expectation I have, and then it feels more forceful, and it feels also I mean, it arises fear, because I'm fearful that it will not fit with my view of the world, and that will mean something about my performance or what I did or not did.
And you feel judged.
Yeah.
And I think there's quite a lot of parenthood that makes us feel judged in one way or another, that we're not conforming with societal norms. Actually, may I just share something that just recently I had a friend of mine said that one of her children has decided that, you know, they're young, they're an adult now. They do not want to have a baby because they are both the man and the woman in that relationship are perfectionists. And they said very clearly to their parent, they cannot have a baby because they won't be able to sort of manage everything. And I thought, well, maybe that's a good thing that they're not having a baby, so that the baby, because otherwise it would be felt like it would just be on all the time, on, you know, two adults on it all the time to do certain things. But they recognized that within their relationship, that was just too much for them. So they made the conscious decision not to have children. So it's just kind of quite an interesting thing. And then I met another person who was pregnant, has just given birth. And when I saw their baby, she's like this size, which is what baby size is. And I thought, how did I ever look after two small beings like that? How did I do that? I have no idea.
How did I manage that?
How did I hold somebody so small? But I did. And there was those moments when I was very much in the moment with the baby. There were definitely times, 100% times, when I was very much behaving in a way that was, this is what we've got to do now. Like, I need you to go to sleep now. When actually that baby really did not want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of felt a little pang of like, oh, I wonder what it would be like to do that all over again. Not that I will, because I'm clearly much too old, but to do that all over again and be different and be more in the moment and just kind of shut out, maybe put more of a boundary up against the expectations of others.
Yeah, and yours also, I would
And
say
also
so.
mine. Yeah, and
Yeah.
mine also.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, listening to you, it comes back again to spring and wood energy. We, especially women, I mean men also, but it's inherent to women, this nurturing and mothering. We mother also our projects, and you, like me, you are writing also your second book. I'm writing my
Mm.
second book, and we are also planning to write a book together. And this kind of projects and visions, it's an opportunity to mother them in this way, with this invitation of being like as supple as a newborn child with the wisdom of an elder,
Mm.
without forcing. And it's quite an exercise, no? For me, writing, it has, as it was something my mind didn't come up with, because when I left my job, my mind made up that I had to be a coach and that I had to study qigong. I mean, it doesn't mean that my heart doesn't want that, but it was like my way of the mind to say, yeah, I cannot like be on the void all the time. I need to have
Mm.
a plan and a project and a vision, and to look like serious person, and not like I don't know what to do with my life with 40, my mid
Yeah.
40s or whatever. And you know, and the funny thing is that yeah, it has been quite a journey, and I love that journey. But the one that I didn't plan, it's the one that I warms my heart the most, and it's the one where I impose my mind the less, because the way I write is not, I know people write like they have an idea and they structure. I don't write like that. I write in Wu way. I write in that kind of way where everything just flows when they flow. And there's periods I don't feel it and I don't write. So these past 2 days I have been ill, but I was connected with the writing and the ideas, and I have, since I'm writing about my experience and my life, then I have thousands of journals and things, and but everything then is clear. It's like a puzzle that organizes, and then I understand everything. And again, it's like this can where it says. Yeah, can you step back from your own mind and thus understand all things? I have
Yes.
experienced that. And yeah, so I think it's invitation with the wood energy, which is about foresight, imagination, visions,
Mm.
projections, projects. You cannot go into the new with an old mind. You need to open your mind and let
Mm.
whatever is wanting to unfold to come.
Definitely. And your writing process that you just shared is very similar to mine. I just write, and it just feels like it. When I'm in that writing mood, it will just come out of my, either by handwriting or by typing. It will just come out of my fingers, and it's like a kind of almost not a stream of consciousness, because it has formed into, I've got it comes out in kind of prose, but I find that I'm really in the moment with the words, really, really kind of sensing into those words and what's going on in me, in my emotional state as well. Actually, I'm just going to just share. I picked up a piece of writing that I started a couple of years ago. So I'm in the second book at the moment. I've got it is sort of in a slightly paused place because other people are reading drafts at the moment. So I'm in this kind of like back and forth stage. So there's no more that I can add, but I still need to write. I have that urge to write. So I picked up a piece of is it actually fiction that I started writing, and I looked at it and thought, when I read it, I kind of almost like was back in that place when I was writing those words. I kind of almost time traveled into that place again and immersed myself in those words, which then meant, and now have got this kind of need to do more of that piece of writing, which for this period of time, that's what I will do, to give my head a bit of a break from the prose that I was writing in my the style that I was writing in my second book. So to try and do this for a bit. So words are incredibly incredibly powerful. We know that, you know, that we have that old Bruce Lee, I don't think it's Bruce Lee, the one when he says words are like spells, that's why we call it spelling.
Well, you see, enchantment, you say in English, and encantamiento, enchantment, it's a magic that you pronounce with words. And the energy of your Shen from the fire is through the voice. And it's known, I mean, it's an energy, and you can do and undo worlds with words. And you can create also a complete narrative and mindset with the words, the ones that you pronounce and the ones you don't say.
Listen, I've got somebody saying something at my door. I just need to let my dog in. If you can hear it or not, hear her. Here she comes. In you come. Thank you.
Hello.
Very beautiful dog, but she's very insistent, and she was not going to stop knocking on the door with her paws until she got in.
You see, it's her way of language, right? So she doesn't have the word like
that is your language, isn't it? Yes, scratching is her language. I just wanted to share something that's sort of kind of coming up for me at the beginning of May. It's around that piece around words, and I recently saw a film that was based on a book. The book is The Lost Words by Robert Macfarlane and Jackie Morris, two great nature writers and artists in their own right. And the book was written as a response to words that have been taken out of a children's dictionary. Words like bluebell and acorn and otter and swift. Words that you would think, how would anybody take those words out? They're words that children need to know, but for some reason, they have been just eradicated and erased from dictionaries. And their beautiful book that they wrote, which was an art and poetry and writing in the book, has been taken and made into a documentary film. Well, actually, it's not a documentary film, it's a film, but it's like a choral love of nature. And it is called The Lost Words. Incredible kind of cinematography by the director. And I was so lucky, and I don't want to say lucky is that word, or fortunate to be able to watch the film recently, in the last couple of weeks, watch the film and be in the audience of the film when the two authors were then interviewed on stage.
Wow.
Boy, it was like mind-blowing. And it was this ode to words and how much importance they have to us, and how much, you know, the simplest of phrases and description words or names can conjure up a whole kind of host of stories in somebody's mind. So they had young, middle-aged, normal, young adults, older adults, and very much older adults in the film. And the poignant moment for me was the voices and the film part when they were working with people with dementia and Alzheimer's. And whoever was working with them, I think it was an artist and sort of therapist was working with them, and they were looking through the books and they were reminding themselves of, say, for example, Bluebell. And a lady was looking at the pictures, the paintings of bluebells, and then retelling her stories of herself running through the bluebells with her younger friends, and taking herself back to those moments of complete unfettered joy. Looking at the colour, the shape, the way that the light came through. And then they took that into painting with a very, very simple palette. It was a really simple palette. There was no colour, actually. It was mostly using like inks. And then the people would be painting and drawing and reminding themselves, without even looking at a picture, just reminding themselves of the shape of flowers. And they were talking about, at one point, they were talking about a rose. And they were saying, oh, they have petals that overlap. And then they painted petals that overlapped in their way. And the watching that reminded me how important words are and how words create these images in our head. And so, as writers, maybe for me and you, to take some time to craft those words so that we can create those beautiful pictures of people's heads. And we can remind people of something in them, in their world, in their life, in their experience that they can reconnect with.
Yeah. And I also, I mean, in my way, I like to also challenge the uses of some words that we fear or that we have an association with that has been shifting over the centuries, because I mean language is also alive. No, we had storytelling for most of our history as humankind, and but also words has been used as a weapon or as a way of introducing certain cages and prisons in which we encounter ourselves. And coming back to words, when we after we share on April's Fool Day, no, the first episode on April where we did the prank, I was curious about the possible origins of the days, because I found interesting that in Venezuela we have it on the 28th of December, such a costume, and which is also amazing because it's called the El Día de los Inocentes, or the Day of the Innocent. And the crazy thing is that this day was chosen because it was the day when this king, what is his name, Herodes,
Herod,
kill all the babies because he was afraid that Jesus will come. And at the end, Jesus came, because life is like that. The reality always wins and nature always wins.
Yes.
Even if the human beings. And the April Fools, one of the hypotheses of this is that April Fool, what was, or the tradition of making jokes or pranks to people, came from one of the hypotheses. I'm not saying it's the only one, but it makes sense to me looking into the way it was organized. It was making jokes of people that were not used to or they didn't like welcome so easily the imposed and artificial calendar we live in, this Gregorian calendar, which was created for tax purposes, for material gains of the human beings, which is a human being creation that wants to overpower nature. And the people that were still feeling nature and living with the nature, and April was the beginning of the year and not the 1st of January, they were people make jokes of them. And while researching that, then talking about words, I discovered that in one of the words that of the English language, which is silly, it suffered a semantic shift through the years, because silly, the root of silly is a German root, which is selig, and is someone that is full of goodness and benevolence and this childlike innocence that is more near to God. And at the beginning, this word was used to describe the people that were more near to God, because they had these qualities of what we read in the chapter of the Tao Te Ching. And through the years, when the Calvinist and these ideas came, that no, you don't achieve a spiritual, the spiritual life is not about being in contact with nature and God and going with the flow and enjoying the unfoldment of things, but you achieve it through effort and sacrifice and purity and all these things. They transform silly to what is it nowadays. And you see, it's not it's not by mistake, and it's not by mistake that these words of nature are taken away from children, and which should be more, we should challenge more what is the narrative that is wanting to be imposed, and the ones we allow in our life, and the kind of words and how we use it. And I have other examples like monster and monstrous also had a big shift in the semantic and it's used to signal. Most of the history, when you research these words, has been made to to signify something bad to the people that are more in alignment with nature and the nature rhythms and the intuitions we have all. And then I was thinking back of me, how this provoked a war inside myself, because you have some feelings and senses, and your body is part of nature, is made of nature, and your experience as a human in these cages we created is contradictory to what you're feeling. And then I felt the most of my life ashamed for my sensations, for my longings, for my desires, because they were contradictory to what I was seeing around and what was said and what is the narrative. And sometimes I wonder, and it's just a question for each of us to wonder, maybe all the wars that we are living in the world come from that contradiction in many ways.
What we know that is right inside to what we are being imposed on from outside.
Yeah, we're trying to live in an unnatural way. And we, I mean, it's today I was walking to the supermarket and thinking how arrogant from human beings to think that we are separate from nature and that we impose. When I see all the streets and the poor birds trying to fly through cars, I can imagine how distressing it is for birds and for all the other animals.
Small animals,
all
yeah,
the
insects,
things we have imposed on them in a planet that is not us, not ours. And to believe that we are right, it's it's just amazing how we came up with this kind of things in our minds.
So let's go back to May. So May, there's something around even the word may. So maybe it's about starting with may I just challenge. And in what I love about May is that there's a complete, like, you know, blossoms are pretty much done, but May blossom is out and it is fully there right now. So there's a kind of may I, and in a way we are start to, whether we push back forcefully or we push back gently, to say that actually there's this perspective. I want you to share a different perspective and see a different perspective. That silly doesn't necessarily mean something that is to be ridiculed, but actually silly is light-hearted and fun and relaxed and enjoyable and has joy in it. You know, so for us, all of us, anybody who's watching this, to use May as a time to just push back. So we may have found those kind of boundaries kind of hemming us in a little bit. We're just going to just gently push them back and say, may I try this? Or may we try this? May we be a little bit different? May we see the world in a slightly different way? I walk past a May hedge, hawthorn hedge, every day. That hedge is truly wonderful. It has birds nesting in it. It's got flowers. It is the host for many, 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 many insects. It is like a whole world in itself. It creates safety, security, shelter. But it also is used as a way to protect with the spikes and thorns and the thickness and the twisted nature of the twigs. So for us, May is a time for us to build a healthy hedge. So we're going to let some things in, and we're going to, with may I, just push that back a little bit.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, like a mother, you know, it doesn't mean that a mother, because it's tender and kind and benevolent and generous, like his mother nature. And I think that, as you said, May is a month for remember that when you see it's an explosion of colors and all the things that you can encounter. But on the same time, Mother Nature and every mother is willing to protect her creation very boldly, also, no, with the thorns and the
and with the no, you will not pass.
You will not pass like this. You know, it has a lot of patience. That's also a quality of Bud. It's an invitation, and you see when Bud is in balance, is patient. No, the mothers are patient. But if you trespass certain barriers and things that you shouldn't trespass, you will see
That they're not so quick. Okay, can be quick to say no.
Yeah.
So, how are we doing? Should we wrap there? Should we stop there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From my
So we've got this. Sorry,
Sorry.
did you want to say something else?
No, that I'm
No.
fine from my side.
I was thinking that we've covered a lot of ground, and there's been a lot of passion, I think, in both of our voices. And I think that passion is that kind of that lovely spring energy that's coming through
Yeah.
as well. I can feel it bubbling up in both of us. And so there's an opportunity for us also to, excuse me, take a moment to just let that passion come, feel it, and then let it go. The image that came to mind was a bubbling, clear, bubbling stream full of the winter melts. It's finally hit the lowlands. And it's moving fast. So let's just sit on a rock and enjoy it from time to time. So that's us signing off from With Wisdom, embodying energy, embracing seasons. And we would love if you people in the wide world would like, share, comment to our posts, our videos, share some of this with people who you may think might need just to take a pause in their life. We've got amazing guests lined up for you for May. We hope you tune in to our interview in a couple of weeks. And I'm going to say goodbye now. So bye-bye from me.
Bye-bye from me also. And thank you very much for listening to us, and also subscribe if you want to keep posted to our conversations, to the wonderful guests we have over, and also in the past. Have a view on the
definitely.
playlist.
You need to look at some of those old episodes.
Yeah.
Because they are super cool.
Yeah. So thank you, Sam, and see you next time.
Yeah.
This was
Take
With
care.
Wisdom.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.